not gonna. I don't want to do it that way. I sound like a carny, bro.
Just don't.
Welcome
Just say
back
welcome
to the
back.
CheekCast podcast, episode 6. These games
right
were
up.
made for playing, and that's just what we'll do. If you want to find us, you can find us on Google Podcasts now. I just did that. I just did that one. I have to sneeze, I think.
Okay. You're
No,
gonna clip
this is
all
not.
this
No,
out.
it's not. This is
awful.
great. This is like raw.
Oh no.
Fucking raw dog. Anyway,
raw.
This is episode 6. The sneeze is gone now, but it's just hovering. We're gonna be talking about a slew of stuff today. We have we're now on Google Podcasts as well as Spotify and YouTube. I'm still working on finding gameplay that I can put in terms on top of the YouTube video, just in case people want to watch for some reason. But that's the plan. Today, Lisa's going to lead us into our first topic, which I do not know what she's doing for today. None of that is getting edited out. Bobo, Lisa, or Thomas. It's staying in. People get the raw recording.
Okay.
I'll edit the first 10 seconds out.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, so to start us off for today, we're going to go over some new game news. Alright, some industry stuff.
I got it out now.
Dude. You have a mute button, sir, you know?
I didn't have time.
Oh my god. I really hope you come off as endearing in these recordings and not Jesus Christ. Anyways. Okay, so the first thing I had out here in terms of some news in the gaming world. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they finally did an actual premiere video for Modern Warfare 2. I don't know how to feel about it. Like I want to say like it's supposed to feel cool.
I'm gonna tell you,
but it didn't.
If anybody comes into my chat asking me if I'm gonna play it, I play shooters mainly on my channel. Why would I not play Modern Warfare 2? The voice crack was intentional. It was supposed to sound distressed.
Okay.
Why would I not? I'm excited
Good to know.
because they made Warzone, which, granted, the first Modern Warfare I didn't really like because I couldn't see anything. But Infinity Ward, I prefer their games over Treyarch. I know that seems by. I know you disagree, okay. But I actually preferred Infinity Ward's games over Treyarch's games. So I'm hoping that this continues the trend. Granted, I preferred Vanguard over what's it called? Over Cold War.
Cold War.
Which I'm pretty sure those were both Treyarch games, if I'm not mistaken. I could be stupid though.
That could be half an episode.
Yeah, we could.
That shit. But as for the actual premiere video, kind of weird.
Is the premiere video this one where the camera's going all over the barge?
It was like, I guess, it's like a live art type thing, so they probably actually did it in real time and then recorded it to put on the internet. So locally, a city probably had that on their dock. But it was just a little weird. But whatever. Hey, Modern Warfare 2 announced, definitely happening at some point. Another thing that I noticed was there was apparently a leak recently, like today, I think. This was
leak
like
or
a
like
gaming
a
related leak that Cyberpunk
okay,
2077 is actually finally working on an expansion. There's a lot to be said about Cyberpunk 2077. Of course, supposedly they've been putting extra work into it and it's more playable now. It feels better, new quests, blah blah blah. I hope so. I haven't gone back and replayed it, but apparently there is an expansion being worked on right now per GameSpot, but it won't be released, I guess, until 2023. And this was a leak, so there's some verbiage that they leaked between characters. I guess there's some things in this article, so they're not 100% sure, but it's normally leaks end up being pretty.
And sorry, we can't cover
accurate,
Modern Warfare 2
so.
more. We don't fucking know anything about the game at all. All they showed was a picture of freight ships and a dock. And whoa, like, so much to talk about. Like, we haven't seen any gameplay. We don't even know what the prestige badges look like or anything. It's just
it was
the best thing they've released so far is their logo, and that's basically all we know about the game. I heard Cyberpunk got a lot of quality of life stuff, like more apartments and some like extra dialogue options, and they've been fixing it. They got a lot of praise because they did the new what is it? They released on next gen finally, so people were really happy about that because hey, we can finally play the game now. Like, that's great. But we haven't heard anything about the expansion. All they said so far from the article I read is people found audio files within the actual game.
It was dialogue.
Yeah, they said they found placeholder dialogue, and so far the best thing they know is that the characters, its main person's name is like Songbird or something, and Johnny Silverhand is not a big part of it. Probably because Keanu Reeves is fucking busy. Like,
yeah, definitely
busy being fucking Neo or some shit.
True. I mean, low key, we need to watch the new Matrix.
What if he's playing Johnny in the live-action version of Cyberpunk 2077?
True.
I'm pretty sure that's the same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about. Same thing.
He essentially plays the same character in every movie somehow.
Yeah, John Wick was a prequel. So
John Wick, what you're saying is John Wick was a prequel.
Yes.
That's quite literally what it was.
This is a
super based conversation.
Something I found as I was doing some research. Apparently, the movie we all know called A Quiet Place is apparently getting a game based in
I wonder how they're going to,
which I think is really cool.
How are they going to do that?
And here's the thing, they don't know much about it. Like, if you go to their website, which is aquietplace.game, there's like nothing on it. It just has the studio working on it, the developer, Paramount. I'm not familiar with them. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, have faith. But yeah, there's like nothing about it. It's just that they have a website. It's not publicized. There's no ads about it, anything like that. I just happened to see when I was looking at a list of 1,000 damn games that have a name trademarked or whatever. That was one that came up. So I went to their website and I found it, and that would be a really cool concept because I'm thinking it would be something like The Last of Us, maybe some stealth mechanic, and yet there'd have to be combat. Like, I would assume it would be similar.
At the companies that are working on the game itself. Right, I can't find anything about Epitome, the company itself. I can't. There's all. Yeah, if you. Why did I say Epitome, bro? Jesus Christ.
You do that every
if you
time.
type in Epitome and you click on their headquarters, it just takes you straight to them. It takes you to. They have A Quiet Place as their main thing. It says they're a video game company in Texas with a couple locations in other places, but it looks like they make comic books. I can't find anything about their games. The other company, however, Illogica, they've made and worked on other games. They worked on Hyperspace, SpongeBob SquarePants Krusty Cook-Off, Extra Krusty Edition, PGA Tour 2K21. It says these are all our projects. Like, they've done some of these I've never heard of. Apparently they worked on Cuphead. Like Lara Croft Go. What the hell is that? Dexter Hidden Darkness. Time Machine VR. Like, some of the shit I've never heard of. And then there's one more company I'm going to look up to before we move on. But it could change. There's a lot of things that could change. I'm just trying to see what they've made Saber's actually in Fort Lauderdale, which is very interesting.
Interesting.
Saber. What have they made? They own a lot of studios. Holy shit. Why do they have so many studios? They made Halo the Master Chief Collection, which is very interesting. Okay. They made Time Shift. Okay. Quake Champions. Nothing that Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. Hell yeah. They made Call of Cthulhu Absolutely. For Switch.
A classic.
They made Killing Floor 2. They make a lot of Switch games. Holy shit.
Interesting.
They made Halo for Microsoft Windows. I don't know what some of this stuff is. Huh. I don't know. Are these?
Either way.
Oh, they're publishing it.
Either way.
They're not developing it. Okay, they're publishing.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it still excites me because Quiet Place sounds fucking awesome.
I feel like it'd be interesting. Like I said, it's got to be similar to The Last of Us. That's the
and what's
thing
crazy
that
to
comes
me
to
is they're not advertising it at all.
Well, it's a ways out. I don't even know if it would be a 2023.
It says coming 2022
or beyond.
Well, yeah, right, they even have it on their Twitter. They say coming. Their first post was that, and this is coming 2022.
Well, we shall
watch
see
it be a Telltale game.
But then they would have Telltale. The style of game, not actual Telltale Studios. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool too.
But
if they want to do it right, they would need to go.
It interests me because Quiet Place just the movies were so cool and well done that I'm very interested in it. Like, is it gonna be the story? Like, is it gonna be the actual story?
Too good.
You get to play as John Krasinski. Like,
well,
okay. The spoiler alert, Lisa. Damn. For the people who haven't seen it.
The first one that came out years ago.
But that's just it's interesting to me. I'm interested in it because you're going to play John Krasinski. You're going to play another character that's experiencing something different, like across the other side of town, maybe. Where
I would assume it'd
I feel
be
like
random
that'd be
characters. Cool. I would assume.
Imagine being able to die and like make another character like Zomboid or something.
It looks a lot
I
like.
hope it's not like that. I don't like that style of game.
Actually.
Yeah, I would hope.
I hope they don't do. I hope it's like an actual good, well-made story game instead of making some shit like fucking tower defense, except it's you versus a demon.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But I thought that was interesting. That was an interesting find of the day. And in terms of movie or production going into video games, we also have the opposite happening. Apparently quite a few Sony games are being made into television production as
You're skipping over my favorite fighting game, though. We just walked right past it.
We're going to that next.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Horizon, as in Horizon Zero Dawn, is getting an adaptation to Netflix, which I think is pretty cool.
It's going to be a TV show, right?
Cinematically, I don't know how they're going to... I believe so.
I am curious to see...
It'll either be a 2-hour movie or it'll be a
I'm curious to see
miniseries.
how they do that.
I'm not sure.
Because I want to see who plays those characters.
True. Which none of that's fully announced yet.
Yeah, for real.
Kratos
and not even that, you gotta get his voice right.
God of War is going to Amazon. Yeah, that's on the list. And somehow Gran Turismo is
I thought people forgot about Gran Turismo.
Some sort of series. Lots of...
I didn't realize that Gran Turismo had, like, characters
exactly.
in it. I thought they were just cars.
So I'm not quite sure how...
It's cars, bro.
I'm not quite sure how that works.
What's it going to be, Cars 3? Like...
Yeah, it's
it's gonna be fucking.
Lightning McQueen's gonna be there.
Paul Walker as a Supra coming up. I'm sorry. I'm
Too soon, man.
sorry.
I'm
I'm
still not over
sorry.
that. Okay, it's too. It's
Spoilers,
Bobo. Spoilers.
I'd love for them to do a fucking look. It'd be so good.
Oh my god. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting that apparently Sony's making big deals to make television and or movies out of some of their signature games. So we'll see how that goes in the future, but that was interesting. And then for anybody who is interested, because I know there's at least a handful of these type of folks in the world, apparently coming relatively soon, My Little Pony 2D Fighter
Dude,
coming
that
out.
shit. Oh boy, that gets me fucking going, dude.
It's literally a straight up 2D fighter with all your favorite My Little Pony characters. Okay? It's gonna be a banger.
I cannot wait for My Little Pony character names.
See, if they wanted to make it a real meme, is that they just take all the best mechanics from the very first.
Bro, imagine
Super
getting
Smash
wave
Brothers,
dashed on by fucking.
and then
Imagine getting fucking wave dashed on by Fluttershy.
You didn't see me dubstep on this motherfucker? I think that's what her name is.
Fucking.
I mean, but think about it. The game's only $20.
I'm gonna be a
like,
what the fuck is that name? I don't know how to. Pinkie Pie main. I had to Google the names of the ponies because I don't know them. I literally Googled My Little Pony character names.
But
There's
I mean,
one named Scootaloo, bro. That's me. Scootaloo, dude.
Is this game literally titled "Them's Fightin' Herds"? Oh no!
There's no way. I don't believe you.
That's no. Look at this article that we are reading.
No.
I am quoting this Game Informer. After finding success on PC, 2D Fighter, Them's Fightin' Herds is making its way to consoles this fall.
It's a console. That means it's already live. Hold on. I'm going to fucking, what is it called? Them's.
It's already a thing.
Them's Fightin' Herds.
Dude, it's $15 on Steam.
Dude,
Them's Fightin' Herds is a 2D fighting game featuring a cast of adorable animals designed by critically acclaimed cartoon producer Lauren Faust.
And so if you look at it though, guys, we're getting into some deep shit here. Okay, so if you look at it though, they got a cease and desist because it's not Hasbro.
It's not. Bro, there's a download for it. Them's Fightin' Herds Shanty. It's a fucking DLC, dude. It's $10 for the official soundtrack. Just almost as much as the base game. Dude.
Savage.
This is crazy.
Herds.
Thomas, they use rollback netcode. Little to no input delay, dude. I'm going pro in Them's Fightin' Herds. Bro, somebody has 100 hours in this game. 98.3 hours in the review. 11 at dude.
It must be a banging ass game.
The voice acting is awesome. That's one of the comments. Wow. Amazing. I can't wait. For the console adaptation, I'm going to go pro on PS5.
This is literally rated very positive on Steam. All right, well, we found our new game. Community night, here we go.
Pony fighting.
Here we go. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my god.
Didn't you give me some kind of anime game? Anime Titties Deluxe or some shit? Yeah, you give me a bunch of. I mean, I've been giving you.
Probably hentai heroes or something. I don't know what it's called, but.
Speaking of, Morrowind just came up as a thing for me, and one of the comments is, "If you don't mind racism and cliff racers, this game is for you." What? It's Morrowind, fam. What are you playing?
Oh my god! I mean, granted, there is racism and classism in Morrowind, quite a bit of it, except it's not about real racism. It's about.
There's a Morrowind Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, fuck the Stormcloaks.
Oh,
yes, there is.
Anyway, that's besides the point. You either die or you You
let's
either
not
die
have
a sky
another
baby or
debate.
live long enough to see yourself become a Moro boomer. Okay.
I'm a moral boomer?
Yeah.
Bro, that means the people who play
no!
Oblivion are what, Oblivizoomers?
They're the
Millennials? Oh my god.
And then the Skyrim players that started there, I guess, are the Gen Skies.
Fucking dated graphics, superior story and quest is what it says.
Oh my god.
Wow. Nobody's
Oh boy,
anyway,
moving past.
moving on.
Okay. So, I don't know if we want to transition here into a big question that was presented to me as an idea.
It actually is a good segue
idea.
from Morrowind into the question.
Absolutely. So the question is, what do we feel makes a game replayable? And that's an open-ended question. So what do you guys feel makes any game, whatever it might be, replayable?
Any game replayable.
Once, twice, 100 times.
I feel like there's a lot of variables when it comes to replaying a game, because a lot of people will say, it's farming. Like, that's what keeps me playing. That's what keeps me playing Diablo. I mean, for God's sakes, for an hour and 45 minutes a day, I killed the same boss over and over for 4 levels. Because I wanted a drop from him. I find that stuff satisfying to a point. To where, the reason I don't play Warframe is because the reason you play a Warframe is to grind. But I don't want to grind 500 hours for one thing. If I have to spend 3 hours doing one thing, that's fine with me. Because if it's going to make my game that much easier, then I will. But when you make new characters in a specific game, like, it's the reason that we haven't replayed Tiny Tina's.
Just like,
and I'm going to tell, to be honest, I don't want to do the 2-hour tutorial again. If you give me a tutorial skip, I'll do it. Gunfire Reborn's different, because every build is different. Every single time you play, you get different scrolls, you get different fucking...
Well, any roguelike game has
it's built for that.
Because of the randomness. Yeah. But okay, so that's just saying the gameplay styling is one way to make a game replayable, because like I said, roguelike games are literally different every time you play.
Also got
that's in the same thing as like Diablo.
Like that, where there's a new season.
Where the season changes, you get a new season, you get to make a new character, and you farm for season-specific rewards. Or builds change and that's stuff updates, valid. And then, one time fucking Toxic Rain will be dope, and then another time they'll change the entire build, and then that won't work anymore. Then you have to do it a different way, or do it this way, or do it that way.
Mm-hmm. What about replayability in story games?
There is, like, Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been thinking about going back and replaying it because I do really enjoy the story and all the, like, there's so many little things that you don't see. Like, there's people who have put like 4,000 hours into Fallout 4 and still haven't found everything.
Mm-hmm.
They still haven't done every quest. They still haven't found a quest from a certain NPC because it's that in depth that you can't do it all. Same with Skyrim. For God's sakes, I didn't know if you shouted at the bell in Blackreach it summoned a dragon. I didn't know that was a thing. I've never done that before.
Yep.
But it depends on the story game. Like, linear story games are hard to replay. Like I would consider God of War a somewhat linear story game. Yeah,
I mean,
and they're difficult to replay. Yeah. Like, you don't end off and then immediately jump into your next playthrough because you know what's going to happen. No. You have some of the best stuff in the game, and you're not going to get better stuff by playing at the beginning again. You would play it to like redo the story, to like be like, okay, I know what's going to happen. Let me see if I can see any differences since I know what's the plot is. But big story games, I feel like to replay a story game, you need it to be almost open world. Like Red Dead, like
or
Witcher,
Skyrim.
like Skyrim, Oblivion, Terraria. You know.
Well, Terraria is
Yeah,
it's
a random gen
too. So that goes back to the.
But like, you're not
thing.
going to catch me replaying Gas Station Sim when I beat it, because I'm going to beat it. I'm going to get max level, and then I'm going to be like, okay, what else is there to do? There's nothing else to do. I have the max warehouse. True. I have the, you know, it's you know, there's very interesting things to make a game replayable, and I'd like to know your thoughts on why you would replay a certain game.
Well, I don't replay many games.
You don't play many games in general.
Even with Borderlands, I mean I replayed it a couple times with you, and me personally, I don't like the grind of games. Something, if I were to replay, I would say it would be more so on any game that has sort of like a new game plus, where the goal is to specifically play it again with different stats, armor, whatever, something like Dark Souls, where you have the new game plus. That's pretty incentivized. Like you said, story games are fun to replay. I would probably replay a handful of story games. I don't do a lot of roguelike games. Uh, I'm just a ninny when it comes to games, I guess, because I don't replay most of my games. But yeah, I think there's got to be an attachment to the game for some reason, because even if a game implements the ability to farm for better armor, or like we talked about Tiny Tina's, even though there's the ability to farm, I don't have any want to do so. Because to you,
you're like, what's the point?
There's no point for me. It has to be super enjoyable for me to want to do that. So,
and that's another point too, is I say I want to farm, but I have to enjoy that. Like, I don't farm yes, Warframe definitely. Because I don't really enjoy Warframe as a game as itself. But yet I can farm the same boss for 2.5 hours on Borderlands and not get bored, because I enjoy Borderlands. And
true. BJ has a good point. BJ's in chat. He said story games for him would be achievements. That is a good reason to replay games. You're right. That's something I overthought. Yeah, I mean, if you're an achievement hunter, whether it's console, PC, whatever, that is a good reason to actually.
A lot of the time, you don't even have to replay the game to do those, though, unless you're doing it on a harder difficulty.
With some games,
a lot of it's just side missions, or doing it with like going back and making sure you catch all the. Like, that's something that I don't really do, is like Red Dead requires you to like hunt all the fucking legendary animals and then catch all the legendary fish. And I'm like, to me, that just sounds for what? Like, I love the game as a whole, but I don't have the desire to go back and do that, because I feel I don't benefit anything from that. At least in Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 2 or Gunfire, we gain knowledge, and I can turn that into another playthrough. If Poe reaches max level and goes, I need help, I can hop on a character that I know is kitted and just hop in and play with him. Gunfire, we gained scroll knowledge. Me and Thomas played Gunfire just to see how broken we could get.
And it's pretty broken.
And then I see Thomas replay games. Like, why do you replay games, Thomas?
Pretty broken.
Path of Exile.
You'd have to point out a game specifically, because I just play shit to play it. Path of Exile, because you never know. You try a new build and could be busted. Could be shit. Sometimes I play Path of Exile and I get 2 days into it and I'm immediately like, yeah.
What drives you to get like?
I don't want to play that season.
What's a good one? Like, Lost Ark came out in America in like a few months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
What drove you to get 600 hours in that game? Okay. See that
There is
that,
nothing
that,
else
that
to
makes
play.
sense.
Valid,
That's a
okay.
good- that makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
And we can't really talk
Well,
about Risk of Rain
I
or
would
Gunfire because they're both the same thing. They're roguelike. We play them to
They're
switch it up.
roguelike, yeah.
But I don't really think Thomas really replays any games. Like we might go back and play but see, Hades is a roguelike, BJ.
Hades is a
It's
roguelike.
those games
yeah.
are built for you to replay over and over.
Yeah, that's their and I would almost count out MMOs as a whole because they're non-ending.
Right.
MMOs don't have an end. Like I mean they shouldn't. They should constantly have enough content to where there is no end to it. There's always something to do. So I would almost count MMO style games out. But in terms of, you know, any story game or like a game like Inscription, right? We had a fun time. You had a fun time playing it because you ended up getting further. Um, but I don't know necessarily that there'd be any replayability. There's like one trick to
Yeah,
getting that
I don't see
far.
myself going back and
and
being like, I want to try to make a new deck and go farther.
yeah, because you can't. I don't think. I really think there's only the one build that you can actually get that far. But either way, I mean, like, cool game, really cool concept, but I don't think it has the replayability factor unless, I mean, every time you die, you're technically replaying, but once you figure out that little trick, that's all you can do is get through it, but I don't think you'll ever play it again. Um, I think a lot of games are lacking replayability.
I mean, I would agree. Like going back and playing like any of the Mario games, I don't know, but like you could play those and just fucking goof off the whole time. But now you go back and play
True.
like I don't have a desire to make a new character in Cyberpunk. I'm not going to make a new character in Remnant.
Actually, that's funny. I was gonna say that I haven't even finished Cyberpunk, and I haven't even
No, like
gone back
as much
to
as
it.
I want to try it again,
But
like I don't like it's the same reason that like I made Poe bought Tiny Tina. I don't want to go make another character because I don't want to redo the entire beginning of the story.
yeah, I hope Tiny Tina's does some expansion stuff that makes the replayability go up. Um, but then that leads to a different question. It's, are games actually lacking replayability, or is there something in modern day us as gamers that just don't see the value
I
in it
mean,
anymore?
I beat GTA 5 like 6 times because
That's true. You did, but then again, it's so open
yeah, but
world.
it's always
There's
but
always
to beat it,
random
you got to
stuff
do
to
the same
do.
missions and almost the same
That's
way. And
true.
even then, it
And it did have some of the
but
best character
just the
development.
way it pulls you in when you play it, and the way it doesn't go, okay, we're gonna go do this where you can't see us, and then we're gonna come back and it's gonna be done. GTA is like, okay, if you want that, you need to go get it. You're gonna go break in and get that sub, and you're gonna bring it back to us. That is what you're gonna do. And you're like, okay, so then that's what you do. And for some reason, just being the front man for something like that makes me just play it again and again because that it's the way it is. BJ brings up a good point with the release of BRs. The what is it? The quick gratification, fast matches. The longest match being 20 minutes if you make it to the end. It's the same reason that people seem to think CSGO is dead because they don't play it, and majority of people play long matches. They can take over an hour. I mean, I had an overtime match. We lost like 24-22 or something, and it took an hour and 25 minutes. That's unheard of. That's like six Apex games for some people, and they don't have the patience for that. And patience is a big thing that people are missing now because games like Apex and Warzone are the front. They can hot drop, shoot a bunch of shit, and die and be in the next game within the next 2 minutes.
True. I'm sure a lot of people would rather just a Call of Duty game come out with only multiplayer because they'll never go through the story.
I mean, it's true. And that used to be my rule as a kid because I wanted to get my full worth out of a game. I remember telling myself when like Modern Warfare 2 came out, I said, I'm going to play the whole story. before I play multiplayer. Because if I don't, I'm not going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get too sucked in. So I was like, I want to play the whole story. So that's what I did. I never regretted it. I thought it was, I mean, the stories of those games were so cool.
Yeah.
It's just,
they were
people,
good.
when people think of replayability, we're not talking about like, trust me, I'm not talking about multiplayer games. You know, we're not talking about multiplayers. Like Lisa said, we don't even want to talk about roguelikes because they're built to
built for that.
They're built to be
keep going
replayed.
back in.
It's what their whole thing is.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about any of those because that's not what it's about. Yeah, we talked about the Skyrim and Fallout. It's because I said story mode games that need replayed are ones that are open world. Like, I don't see myself ever going back and doing another playthrough. I wouldn't say ever, but I never had a desire to go back and play another playthrough of the original God of War. Like, I probably will when they announce the release date of Ragnarok. We'll do that. We'll do that on stream. I'll do an entire one where we play through the whole story again just to prep for the new one. But like, I don't see myself going back and doing it anytime soon. Just for fun.
Yeah. And I don't think you'll ever play Soma again or Observer again, even though they were great games.
Oh, don't even get me started on replaying horror games. You can't. You literally, because nothing is that scary second time around.
True. I mean, again, the only replayability then comes from having a new game plus, something where you can go back in and play for fun, essentially. Like with Resident Evil and having your upgraded guns. You go in, you get points, you buy better weapons, you speed run the game. Like that's the replayability, is speed running or, finding stuff you missed,
Right.
whatever. Doing it on a harder difficulty. Um yeah, I do feel like quite a few games are missing out with some replayability factors.
I wish they weren't, because there are some games that I would love to go back and play again.
Then again, we do have a lot to choose
That is
from.
another, to me, I feel like that's another big one, is you used to replay games back in the day because there was nothing else to play.
Or you couldn't
and
afford
now
it,
there's so many free to play
like,
games out there that you just be like, okay, I don't want to play that anymore, and then just literally go find something else to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Some games back in the day.
Dude, imagine having a full memory card. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
and
imagine
you just
having
don't
a
have
memory
one
card, dude.
single
I did
slot.
the same fucking Goku mission where I had to hold Raditz in front of Piccolo 17 times a day because I just couldn't save. So I have to get up every morning when my mom would turn it off or we'd lose power and redo that mission every single day to play Budokai. Because, dude, oh my sweet Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, do children these days even know about memory cards?
They probably don't.
Like, can we enlighten?
No,
you had to go to the store.
Anybody who is listening to this, you did listen. Okay, so this is a learning segment for all the younger folks that might listen to this podcast. So nowadays, when you download a game on your console or your computer, it just saves to your hard drive. Easy peasy. There's a hard drive in your console. It's the exact same thing that goes in your computer. That's how it works. You download it, it's instantly there for you. You can fit 3-4 huge games on those hard drives and all the saves attached to them. Listen, when we
oh no, Lisa's getting sentimental.
Tough. when I since I'm older, PlayStation 1, your PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, your Sega, all of that, we had to physically go to a store and purchase expensive ass memory cards, okay? I'm talking these sons of bitches were $9.99 20 years ago, okay? Do you know how much $10 is as a young child? $10. And you want to know how many save slots that had? 9. Okay? 9 saves on a PlayStation 1 memory card. That means yes,
8
8 kilobyte. And then
kilobytes.
if you could upgrade it to the 16, ooh, stunting. But you always had to go for those bootleg ones, that were 16 or the 32s, and they always failed somehow. We used to have literal 9 save slots. Fam, that's what I'm telling you is you were playing one game, Resident Evil. Okay, you had a couple saves on there because you were different points, or one was Leon, one was Claire, okay? But then you wanted to play Street Fighter, all right? Or you wanted to play a different game. 9 slots. That's all you get. Okay, that's how many games you can play, period. And if you lose those, you're boned. Or you got to go out and buy another memory card. And then you got to keep track of what memory cards have what damn games. You know how many damn memory cards I'd have to go through to plug in to figure out which one was which because I didn't label them? Y'all don't understand how lucky we are.
Not to mention that you just we have cloud saves now and shit. Damn.
Yeah, we don't even necessarily. Yeah, literally a tenth of the game is on your hard drive. The rest of it's in the cloud now.
There's
It's
fucking
insane.
cloud saves, and you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna log in on a different computer. It just has all your saves there for you. Like, you wanted to switch consoles. I wanted to go to my cousin's house and play on his PS2. He'd call me before I'd leave and go, make sure you bring the memory card. And I'd say which one, and because I had 2 of them, and
the white
and
one,
I'd be like, the black one, or the white one. He said, and he'd go, whichever one has the Budokai save on it. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll bring that. And then make sure you bring the right one. If you don't, you're fucked. Like you're fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, I learned to play Guitar Hero on a fucking controller because we only had one. We only had one controller.
Hell yeah.
We only had one guitar, and it was his. So he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have to learn how to."
We learn things
it's
here.
Just, it's
is
fascinating.
We learn things
to think about that stuff.
Yeah, talk about replayability though. I'm telling you. See here nowadays. You get in a game and you can just make 5, 10 different play saves. Like, say you're playing Dark Souls or whatever the case, and you have a build. I'm going to save right here, and then I'm going to change my build, and if I don't like it, I'll come back to this point 3 hours ago, and I'll just change. No. Back in the day with a memory card, you pretty much only got a couple chances, okay? You had a couple runs, and if you overwrote that save, you ain't going back. You ain't going back to it.
Or if you got to that one boss and you did not save,
you're done.
Rips.
You're done.
Man, gaming was hard. Okay, we've come a long way.
I'm not telling you that it should be hard for you just because it was hard for us. I'm glad it's easier now. I really enjoy the fact that it's fucking easier.
True.
You know how irritated I get with games nowadays when they don't
autosave. Do you remember having to manually save everything? Do you remember when save points in games were like buttons you would push in the game?
You had to find the check mark.
You had to tell the game.
Running around a map like, bruh, come on. It is 15 minutes past my bedtime. I got school in the morning. Like, where
on, Resident Evil, and she kept going, you need to make sure you find the cassette tapes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you got to find the cassette tapes to make sure that you can save. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. She's like, but that just.
You got to write.
Yeah, you got to type in your information where you at.
And I'm like,
back before memory cards,
like, you gotta find that and put it on the spool. And I'm like, what? Is this real? She's like, yeah, this is how you have to save the game. I'm like, oh, I mean, okay. Like, what am I gonna say?
Seriously, that's what you had to do. You had to physically in the game, physically make your character save the game somehow, and then it would lead you to your memory card, then you could save it.
You might not have enough. I remember her going, you only have so many saves per playthrough. And I'm like, what? Yeah, you only have so many saves per playthrough.
Yeah, you see those six.
You can only find 6 cassette tapes, and you have to save around those. And I'm like, no. Absolutely not.
Gaming was hard, y'all.
The only bad thing about autosaves nowadays
Bro,
is that
it'll put
every
you in a
once in a
goofy
while
spot.
you're gonna get those really like shitty ones. Yeah, you're stuck in a spot or like you have like 10 HP and it spawns you like right in front of
And
the
my
boss
favorite
every
is doing
time.
that
So
in
you're just in an
Fallout.
infinite cycle of getting one
And
taps.
in
And you're just
Fallout,
like,
there's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
3-second window where it's pitch black on your screen, but you're still active. and in that 1 second, you just come back in and your body's already flopping to the ground.
And you're already
Like,
dead, yeah.
and you're already dead. And you're like, oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Hey, but that leads us back to replayability. If you get stuck in one of those cycle traps, you literally just replay the
Yeah,
game.
you just get to replay the whole thing.
You just get to
I hope
redo
you have
all of
fun
it.
with
It's
that
perfect.
because it is really fun to redo those.
Over and over again.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's great. Oh man. Yeah, we have fun. And games used to be, I feel like they were more replayable.
like we said, it
I
might
think
be just because we didn't have anything else.
I think
Mm.
there was just the choices we had to make to replay those games for various reasons.
Maybe we just
clearly.
didn't have anything else we wanted to play at the time. We were just like, well, and I guess this is it. We'd fuck play that. I mean, we played Budokai because it was fun, but we only had 2 games, so we just kind of did what we could.
True. The struggle, the gamer.
Granted, I
struggle
enjoyed
back in
the
day.
absolute shit out of it. I thought it was really fun. It just wasn't the best, I guess. Wasn't what there were stuff we could have did to make it easier.
Well,
we didn't. You needed money to do that. It was
absolutely
having ease of access back then was a luxury. Everything we do now with the hard drives and cloud saves, like we just think that's just like it doesn't work. This is bullshit. Like it should just work all the time. But people don't remember having to juggle. We literally had a box for memory cards. Like the old cases, dude. I remember whenever we played Budokai, I had a specific case that I'd put it in, just so I would remember which one had what on it. Used to write on them in fucking Sharpie.
I'm telling you,
you could remember.
Yes. You'd dedicate a memory card to one game. If you had the money, you'd buy them used. You'd go to GameStop, right? And you'd get the used ones for $4.99 instead of $9.99. Oh man. The good old days. If you were lucky, you'd go on eBay and buy somebody's memory card that already had fully completed games on it.
I got lucky and did that once.
So you could
I got lucky and got one out of I got a block, I don't know if it might have been Blockbuster, and I found one of the memory card inside the box, and it had it had Zelda or not Zelda, it had a Budokai save that was completed, and that was the one we used because all we wanted to do was fight each other. So that's all we did, and it was so worth it. Never even beat that game.
Yeah.
Solely because we found that.
Replayability.
All we wanted to do was fucking play. We played all the time.
Well, I will say, we got off the rails, and this ended up being all about Budokai. So shout out to that game.
Budokai 2, dude, you're the best. I know people probably say Budokai 3, but I like Budokai 2. That's probably because I was old. Or I'm old. Not because I was old.
You are.
You don't just get younger naturally.
If only. That'd be great. So, moving on from that topic, which sent us off on a tangent, as it normally does. It is. And I think some things branching from that could be talked about next week. Maybe like open world games and what makes them great.
Oh yeah, we could talk about so many open world games.
I wanted to go a different direction. Just to put it out there, this isn't necessarily a speaking topic, but just to put it out there, so it's on this podcast out to the world, that the Apex Legends Championship will be in North Carolina in July. And I'm just here's the topic, Bobo, go ahead.
You say it like that to me for what
Go for it,
reason?
cuz it's more
It
a
is,
your
but
thing, you know what I'm saying?
the
I don't
Apex
play the
Championship
Apexes.
series, like the actual finals, is going to
The
be held in
ALGS.
Raleigh, Rulu,
Raleigh, good God.
Raleigh, North
North
Carolina,
Carolina.
and I am going to be going to that like hardcore because I really, I really like it. It's fucking sweet as shit, and I never get to go to stuff like that. So we're going completely out of the way to go.
Yep, that's the plan.
I'm just so
That
if you're
is the plan.
gonna be, if you live there, if you think you're gonna be around that area at any given point in time, you can
Yep.
probably find my big sweaty ass walking around, probably out of breath, sitting on a bench somewhere, because
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be taking 3 steps and then heaving. So, but you can easily find me out there. We will be going to that. I know it is going to be extremely crowded.
They have not even
I
announced
don't
where
think
it's
so,
at yet.
but it is there somewhere.
It still says Raleigh, so I'm assuming as much. And the goal is for us to be there for a day or two, probably 2 days, if not 3, while it's going on. But again, they still have to announce the extra details. I think they're cutting it a little damn close,
Just a little bit.
considering it's almost June and this is supposed to take place starting July 7th. But okay, that's on ALGS, but that's just my opinion. More news to come on that as we find out what's going on and what our schedule is, but just to put it out there in the universe that if you're local to that area, we will probably be there in July 7th to
Which
10th.
is,
So.
consequently enough, my birthday. The 10th, not the
Yee.
7th or the 8th
So,
or the 9th.
Yeah, Bobo Extravaganza, 3 days
3
of
days
birthday,
of
hell yeah.
fucking me, dude. Not fucking me, but
Wow.
I didn't mean to say it like
Come
that,
on,
man. I did not
man.
mean to say it like that.
This
I
is
didn't
being
mean
recorded,
to say it like
dude.
that. Okay?
Okay.
I
So you
didn't.
say. Alright.
But it's going to be 3
Oh,
days
boy.
of
Well,
me walking around. Not.
more to come.
Yeah.
More to come
Once
on
we know more.
we do not have the
plan
details, but yeah. Anyway, depending on if you want to cover anything else, I'm about summed up for this podcast. I mean, I had a couple extra little things on there, but
Yeah, we threw a few more
we don't
things
have
together.
to cover it.
In terms of wrapping up, I think that is a good place to wrap it up for the day. It's not a full hour if we didn't do the whole time, but we're spontaneous and quirky, so don't fucking get mad at me. Remember that these games were made for playing. As you know,
Were.
Lisa and Thomas like to say, they've said it a lot of times this video. Even more so Thomas than Lisa, because at least like Thomas has been a chatterbox this video. It's
absolutely. What video?
This video.
There's no
so
video.
This video. I'm
Quit
sorry.
looking at your camera.
This video. My God.
Jeez.
But
stop
yeah,
recording.
I think
me.
this is a good place to stop for today. I think it's a good place to chill. I almost did the Twitch sign off, dude. You guys have a nice night. Stay cheeky. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Quit it. Don't forget tier 3 subscribers to the Twitch channel.
Once again, tier 3s. If you watch my Twitch at all, or if you randomly come across the podcast, I do stream on Twitch, since I know a lot of people will probably go, "Who the f is this big guy talking?" I do stream on Twitch every day. I should probably start saying this at the beginning of the video. I do stream on Twitch though, at twitch.tv/Obrodo. If you want to listen into the recording real time and actually have the chat come up and stuff, make sure you're a tier 3 on the channel and link your Discord and your Twitch together. Otherwise, you won't see the channel that I post this in, which is the link to get in.
Very true.
So, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate anybody who listens. I appreciate Thomas and Lisa for coming on today, even though we we kind of get off the rails, and I just apparently like to hear myself talk. So I appreciate them and BJ for watching. Not Poe, because Poe's not here anymore. Fuck Poe.
That is
yeah,
memorialized eternally.
Episode
Episode
6,
6.
as we called it, these games are made for play.